Good evening, folks. Thanks for tuning in to CastingAsWellWatcher.com. Earlier today, we had the weather aware update for the UK. Some very interesting conditions in terms of showers across the UK. Those showers are currently decaying and dying off across the country, but will keep some heavy rain through the nighttime and evening period in northeastern parts of the country. This is the forecast from the GFS for London, and the green bars indicate rainfall, and the temperature is indicated by the maximum temperature is indicated by the red line. And currently in these cool conditions and also these shower conditions as well. As we go through towards the weekend, rainfall starts to drop off and we build temperatures back up. Before starting to dive temperatures back off again through towards the start of next week, and starting to slowly rise them up through towards the end next week. Rainfall is currently quite high, to say, them low through the weekend and starting to pick up again for next week, with a wet westerly flow returning across the country. This is North Atlantic Oscillation. We're currently diving off into towards negative phase, and then the models are starting to bounce around a little bit. Some of them go high, some of them go low, indicating that the easterly flow and westerly flow is sort of uncertain to go through towards towards next week period. And this is all indicating on the idea of the models being all over the place through next week, through towards the end next week, through towards next weekend. Some of them are going through towards the milder scenario with high pressure starting to reach from the northwest, and some are going through towards the more settled scenario with trough over the country. More on that in just a second. This is a forecast from the 8 to 10 day period from the GFS and also the ECMWF. On the left we have got the ECMWF, and on the right we've got the GFS. Now what this chart is showing is the what's going on at 500 millibar atmosphere. That's the jet stream level. The blues indicate low pressure, and the ridges and the ridges and the high pressure is indicated by the orangey red colours. And we have got those orangey colours across the pole, indicating that northern blocking across these areas, and that's also indicated on the GFS as well. The jet stream for this period coming off the eastern seaboard into the British Isles, and that's the same on the ECMWF as well. On the ECMWF, got the trough over many parts of the country into Eastern Europe. However, on the GFS, it's further southeast and towards Southeast Europe, rather compared to the ECMWF. So there's a lot of uncertainty through the weekend, through towards next week and next weekend. On the ECMWF, the high pressure is starting to link in with that one over there, with the high pressure over the north. It's fairly uncertain, not going down very well, but on the GFS, it's starting to link in here to start to bring in the better conditions across the north and west of the country. This is the GFS ensemble chart for next for Monday, Bank Holiday Monday. Low pressure sent out towards northwest Scotland, unsettled conditions across many parts of the country. High pressure just starting to ridge in there across the West Atlantic, indicating that the cool conditions coming in with the trough pumping warmer air. Pumping warmer down, feeding this trough. With the ridge pumping the warmer down, feeding this trough across the country, and feeding us unsettled conditions that we'll experience through the start of next week. And then going further ahead towards next Wednesday, 29th of May, the trough is still hanging around. Notice across many parts of the country, high pressure starting to come in from the west, so always starting to build in this trough from the west. And notice that it's still pumping this trough down, feeding it further south and towards Europe. And high pressure just starts to show signs of trying to link into with the one further north across the pole. And then going even further out towards the 3rd of June, high pressure just pop a link then with the one over Scandinavia. It's formed a nice old ridge there. Low pressure sent out towards Europe, bringing thunderstorms in this area. Many northwestern parts of the UK in these dry conditions, always a bit more cloudier and cooler towards the southeast of the country, with the northeasterly flow coming down the eastern sea, eastern side of the UK. This is going up through towards the 3rd of June. And looking at the ECMWF ensemble forecast there, this is going through towards next Monday. Low pressure across many parts of the country. The trough is trying to pump up northwards, but it's not doing very well with the polar vortex coming down through towards parts of the northern Atlantic. And then going through towards the 2nd of June from the ECMWF, well, we try to build a trough of the ridge across many parts of the country, but it never does very well. We've got this trough trying to pump this ridge westwards, trying to undercut it. We've got the trough over many parts of the country, bringing settled conditions. It never really builds in very well, this ridge over many parts of the country. So the ECMWF is keeping unsettled conditions across the country if it was correct in its predictions. So just comparing the two, the GFS ensemble has seen the cool conditions at the moment and seen the wet conditions too. The ECMWF is also seeing those cool conditions. They don't need me to tell you that. Very cool conditions across many parts of the country. And then we try to build temperatures back up through towards the weekend. That's down the GFS as well. And then a dive off in temperature through towards next week. That's on both the models. And then we just try to build temperatures back up through towards the very end of next weekend. That's there on both models as well. And then we try to build them very slowly back down again. That's there on both models. If you just look there, it's there indicated by the GFS. It's really very subtle, but it is there. And rainfall is quite high over this period as well. So it's all indicates the uncertainty really of how high pressure builds in from the northwest. If it builds into it successfully, that means we'll see dry conditions through towards 8 to 10 day period, extending through towards the very start of June. If it doesn't build in well at the ECMWF is saying, well then we'll see more settled conditions across the country, with high pressure staying far out to the northwest of the country. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. Don't forget forget to go through to castings on weatherwatcher.com. I hope you enjoy this forecast. Looks very uncertain through towards the end of next week into the weekend. It looks like we'll see warm conditions coming through next week, and then a bad old bank holiday with wet conditions coming through the country. And then through into next week, we do try building high pressure from the north, but it's always a bit of a struggle. And looks like we will be keeping a trough over the country. And once that trough tries to sink south but eastwards, we could start to build in high pressure through towards next weekend. So thanks very much for watching, and see you later on castings.weatherwatcher.com.